Hey everybody, I'm back from Nationals, and it's been a couple days since Nationals officially finished, but I needed some time to just rest and relax and just get back home to Santa Barbara, California. But I definitely wanted to make this video, definitely wanted to share with you guys what the trip was like and what happened. And so if you're looking for a more strategic perspective about what happened and kind of a little bit more redemption strategy, I would recommend reading my article that I wrote and I published on Land of Redemption called My Journey to Winning Nationals. So spoiler alert, I did win one of the categories. And so if you'd like a little bit more breakdown about the deck that I chose and a little bit more play by play as far as how the matches went, you definitely want to check out that article. This one's going to be more of like a behind the scenes, more personal thing, full of less redemption talk and just more personal talk. So don't worry, I have you covered on both sides of the content. So the first thing I want to mention is the Airbnb that I got to stay at. It was a blast. I had a great time right here. That's going to be Jaden. If you recognize him from Redemption with Jaden, it's his brother Justin. We just gotten some Chinese food out of the picture. You'll see, if you could see there, you'd see some orange chicken I'd be chomping on. That's Gabe, one of the Redemption elders. This is Mr. Hendricks from the Threshing Floor. He's going to be the host, and this is his co-host, Augur the Wise. And I'm guessing this is Tyler. So we got a lot of big names in this picture, and it was just such an honor and a privilege to get to stay with them and enjoy their company for a couple of days. Kind of a fun thing that Jaden decided to do on the opening night that we stayed there was organize a fantasy draft. So he kind of had people set up at a table here. He would organize the whole recording thing, his little webcam, and basically these four people would draft different types of redemption players, kind of like a fantasy football league almost. And so that was fun. I'll put a link in the description if you want to watch the VOD on that on Jaden's channel. But surprise, everyone was surprised when Tyler took Babooni Tim in the first round third pick. So I was surprised by that, but Tyler really believed in me. That meant a lot. So so we had a late night there, and then the next day started. Day one was a booster draft, and it wouldn't be America if you didn't start your morning looking at the golden arches. What's more beautiful here, the golden arches or the golden sunset? I'll let you decide. But I took this in the parking lot of a Chick-fil-A where I got my protein breakfast. It's important to get good fuel for the fire, and the venue itself was quite beautiful. It was at this church, Allendale Baptist Church, I want to say. But yeah, the facility looked kind of on the newer side, very clean, very spacious. There's Jaden lugging in his supplies and John holding the door open for him. And here's a glimpse of what it looked like on the inside, where they just had rows and rows of beautiful tables, chairs. And when the tournament started, basically all these chairs would be filled with people. So this is kind of how you see it. It's kind of pretty bare bones right now. This is before the tournament starts. And we kind of go up here, check in, get a little lanyard. I can show you a picture of what my lanyard looked like. So they give everyone a little lanyard here. And they kind of mark down what tournaments you were doing. On day one, you could choose to do booster draft or type 2 2-player. Friday, there's only one event, the main event, the type 1 2-player. And on Saturday, there was either the sealed deck or teams. So I was going to do booster draft, type 1 2-player, and teams. And they give us a little redemption card on the back, but I quickly replaced mine with a card that Gabe gave me. He has a special box full of cards. They're not official cards, but they're more of like proof cards, so you could say. Basically, he's in charge of determining what cards are going to be made into promo cards. And so he has a whole box of goodies, all foil, and some of the most beautiful cards you've ever seen. It's so pretty and so special that I don't think I could have taken pictures and shared them with you guys, because the cards I saw in there may or may not be promos for the upcoming tournaments or whatever. So anyways, here's a token that he gave me out of the kindness of his heart. It's a foil violent possessor token. So yeah, very special, very kind. I'm really sorry. But yeah, you get the picture. This is the only shiny violent possessor token you'll ever see. And so, I decided to put that back here and kind of flex it around. People were going around asking, like, what does the back card in your redemption lanyard say about you? And so originally it said trust. And it's easy to say, oh, I'm so trusting. But then I put this in the back. It's like, oh gosh, what does that say about me? Basically, I tried to channel their energy. I just I gotta play like a monkey possessed in a good way. So I don't know. Anyways, that was the lanyards. That was that. Back there, they got a little judging station, and right back there is where they set up the live stream. And then there's some back rooms. One of the rooms held all the Your Turn Games supplies. So Your Turn Games owned and operated by Andy. I love Andy. Getting to meet him in person was a sure pleasure. And he had basically whatever redemption cards you wanted: deck boxes, sleeves, shirts, playmats. And right there, you even had some challenger decks. I forget exactly what they're called, but it was cool to see Nativity Herod's right in the front. Like, somebody buy this. It's a good deck. And then then another highlight of the tournament was getting to see Mr. Miyota. If you've been on the Discord, you've probably interacted with him. He has Yoda everything. He has a Yoda Discord profile picture. He posts Yoda memes all the time. He uses AI images of Yoda, but he has a real heart for seeing the Gamer Redemption grow. And he has like a nifty little billboard that I imagine he's used to tell people about the game. So beautifully done, well presented, like immediately draws your eye in, and like once you want to learn you want to learn more basically. Yeah, I want to scan this QR code. I want to start buying some cards, so this is an awesome billboard. So when we get down to the draft, you get to sit down at a table. You have a pot of 4 people. I think there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 packs. There's 2 packs of Legacy of Christ, 2 packs of Israel's Inheritance, and 2 packs of Gospel Christ. And then the idea of a draft is you open up a pack, take a card, pass it around. And you do that, you open up another pack, take a card, pass it around that way. And you do that until all the cards are gone. Long story short, there was I did not think this deck was going to get to 5 wins. It was the little tank, Thomas the Tank Engine here. Basically, I started drafting defense early. So I kind of grabbed some really good defense early. And then by like the time the second or third pack came around, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to start prioritizing my heroes. I'm not going to have any heroes. And for the rest of the draft, I was like trying to pick up clay cards and these cards. And so as a result, my deck was heavily skewed towards getting heroes, which is not a bad thing, but my defense, I didn't think could actually get any blocks off. I picked up a late Moses in like my last pack, and I was scrambling to find some good white enhancements for him. So I had to sacrifice even more defense in order to put these crucial white cards for Moses to get in. So yeah, highlights of the deck, probably Moses for sure. Chosen Warrior can ban to anybody. Barnabas was actually pretty clutch. Having some Soul Gen really won me some games. And as far as the defense goes, I had some nice little blocks I could do. I had Choose the Blocker, really strong. Actually, 2 Choose the Blockers. The Solta card, which is nice. Yeah, these pale green cards were basically so trash. Every time I discarded this guy like every single game. So these cards basically didn't do anything. But yeah, I had this one card says if used by royalty, discard a royalty to protect lost souls from rescue. So I had like 2 royalty. I could play that. My brown cards were good battle winners, but I didn't really have any way to get initiative. So if like I blocked a big guy and they played a battle winner, basically I had to surrender a soul. So my only blocks were from maybe my royalty, choosing the blocker, attacker, and then maybe going for like a black with my little small black card and playing the high priest plot. So I think my best game of the day was against Andy, where we were just playing back and forth, and I was getting all the little things I needed to do to block him, and he was getting some nice blocks off on me, and I just went back and forth, and I came down to the wire, ended up squeaking out a victory against him. And it was just such a fun game too. Basically, he was threatening to lock me out of the game with Abner, and then I had to figure out a way, like, how do I get rid of his Abner? And I forget exactly how I did it, but it was really cool when it happened. That was that. If I have any takeaways from the booster draft, it's like try not to tunnel vision. If I'm picking these pale green cards, I need to remember I don't have any pale green enhancements, and yeah, if I need to think about the kind of ratio I have in my offense and defense, be a little bit more mindful. Anyways, that's booster draft, and then that's the day when Rob starting to sell. Is either day 1 or day 2, I forget, but that's when Rob was starting to sell Israel's Inheritance booster boxes, and there was a little surprise that none of us really knew about, that 1 in every 10 boxes had a foil ultra rare in it, and so people were definitely trying to chase these down. These were the talk of the weekend for the collectors, and I got to see John Hendricks, and he is in possession of the Habachi, which is really beautiful card. Speaking of really beautiful redemption cards, I was also got at the Airbnb, got to talk to Brian, and he lugs around this big binder. I don't know if you've seen this or gotten to see this in person, but like this binder is bigger than some of the small kids running around there. But anyways, in this binder, he has his entire collection of the most highly sought after cards redemption. So this is a casual page, but he has like all the promos from Nationals. He ended up winning day 1 of booster draft. So he already put his promos right there. He got 3 of them. And right here, I think he said it was the most rare card in redemption. It's like a promo Son of God card that there's only like maybe 9 of them in existence or something. And he has 1 of them. These cards are gorgeous. I mean, I've never seen so many redemption cards, so many pretty redemption cards in one place, and especially newer people who are newer to the game, or just like haven't really encountered these cards before. It'd be like a dream to get to see them. Anyways, it was fun. I felt like I was in a museum and getting to leaf through it. If you win nationals, if you win one of the categories of nationals, you get to create a card. So for each year, this is like a winner create each of these cards, and he went around to each of the winners and he had them sign it. So for example, Justin signed the Jaden signed this one, Justin signed this one. And so he went around and John Hendricks signed that one. So yeah, another really cool piece of redemption history right here. Like if you're a collector, Brian has it all, man. Like this is the dream for any redemption collector right here. So congrats, Brian, and thanks for showing me your collection. That was quite something to behold. And before we started the day 2 of the tournament, I got to watch Tyler and Justin. They weren't tired of redemption yet. They love playing Type 2, so they have their 100 card decks. Shuffle them up, went to head to head. I was trying to follow the game. I quickly had to just retire because of how tired I was. But Type 2, maybe it's something I'll get into one day, but didn't quite get into it this turn. Day 2 was the Type 1 2-player event. Just another day. Let's get into it. It's feeling good. So the deck list I chose to use was a Nativity Heroes deck. Surprise, surprise. And so if you've been following my channel, you've been watching a lot of this deck gameplay, and I hope you haven't gotten sick of it. But basically, I was able to get a bunch of practice in with this deck and then run it at Nationals and be very confident with my play patterns and be pretty competent knowing what to do and how to execute my game plan. If you want a little bit more discussion about why I chose specific cards in this deck, you can read the little article I'll link in the description. But for those who are just maybe kind of casually keeping up with the channel, the idea is I have an offense that is full of nativity characters. Each of these characters are really strong. Each of them can attack and get stuff out of my deck and get me more cards. And the idea is I play an early resurrection to grab all my nativity heroes out of my deck, add a couple of fortresses, and just really start off strong. Get a really strong opener, try to limit my opponent's option on what they're able to do. And over the course of the game, just ride the power of these nativity cards to victory. And so that's the offense. The defense is they call it a Herod defense. And they're based around these powerful Herod kings from the New Testament. And the Herods, in my testing, were by far the strongest defense out there. I didn't have much confidence in any of the other defense. And so it's kind of like locked in. I wanted to play Herods. The thing about the Herods, they're really strong, but they don't draw a lot of cards. So you need to pair them with an offense that allow you to keep up in cards with the other high octane offenses out there. A last minute addition to the deck was Denarius, which is a card that's not naturally good with Herods, but you just throw an Emperor Claudius in there and the Denarius, and you're kind of good to go. I was amazed by how many blocks this guy got over the weekend, because out of the 10 rounds I played, all 10 rounds were against NT heroes. New Testament heroes. So Claudius was very good against them. The last part of my game plan was in making sure my opponents didn't really get to play their good enhancements or evil enhancements. So one way to do that was with Herod's Temple, which you can use Herod's Temple to start a toss battle, which makes it so your enhancements don't really work. And then cards like Glory of the Lord will restrict people from playing enhancements in battle. And so a lot of these cards here you also see are kind of newer. These are like Confusion of Mind, Wall Protection, Christian Martyr. These are all cards I put in the deck to help my Disciples matchup, which was a matchup that in testing I was really finding it difficult to get a block off and win against them. So I knew Disciples were going to be played. I didn't know they were going to be played as much as they were. I knew Herods were going to be played. I didn't know Herods were going to be as popular as they were at the turn. So it ended up like the little decisions I had made at a time really worked out for me. So in between the tournament, you could go to this little place called the Back Rooms, and you just had some tables and where you could eat food and hang out. This is Leo. This guy's a little jokester. He has all sorts of nicknames for me. Love hanging out with him. This is Taryn. This is Luke. So it was also really fun getting to meet a bunch of people who may or be described, maybe subscribers, and they come up to me and say, Hi, Tim. I recognize your voice, but it's funny to see your face in person. Also, it's fun to give away a little Baboony Tim national sleeve. So if you got one of those, congratulations. For all the people who decided to come up to me and say hi, I really appreciate it. I've never been greeted by that many people in my life. So it was an honor to get to say hi to you and meet you. So the tournament was 7 rounds. And after 7 rounds, the top 8 best performing people got matched in a single elimination. And so I made it to number 6 out of 8. And so I was able to make it into the top 8. I was paired against Josh Potratz. And so that basically, to make it to the finals, had to beat Josh. And then I had to beat whoever won between Jaden and E-Man. And then I had to beat the finals. So I had 3 more rounds to go after the 7 to cut the top 8. And a fun thing that they did was they printed off like March Madness inspired brackets, and they had people try to guess who was going to win. I don't think anyone had a perfect bracket. So definitely some unexpected things happened for people guessing on what was going to happen with this final right here. This is one of the organizers of the judges. His name is Red Dragon Thorn on Discord. And there's Gabe. He was kind of like the head judge. And there's Tyler, who was another judge for this day. Want to shout out them because they did a great job. And if you'd like a breakdown of what happened in the different matches of Top Cut, go ahead and check out that article. I kind of give a little synopsis of who I was going up against and what the matchup, how that matchup kind of played out. And for some of the matches, the semifinals and the finals, actually, you can watch those on YouTube. They kind of recorded it. And so if you're interested, feel free to watch those matches on YouTube, which is fun. But I'm not going to go through it and break down exactly what happened. But needless to say, things worked out for me. I was able to win all 3 matches and ended up in the final with Jake. And basically, Jake went first and he had a massive board advantage. Things were looking really rough for me, but I was able to somehow come back from all this and get the victory. So it was good. This is the little award ceremony I think I can pull up, which is really nice. I got presented with a little plaque and some cards. Jaden third place and Jake got third place. Or sorry, no, Jake got second place, Jaden got third place. Yeah. And there's Ron, he's one of the tournament hosts. These are the promo cards that they awarded me for winning. I got Guardian of Souls, which is kind of a full art, full border one. Gates of Hell, second place promo, and the Prosperity Lost Soul. And then I got 3 ultra rares from Israel's Inheritance. So quite the spoils of war here on the card front. And here's another picture of the plaque. It's a little closer up. This is what it looks like. So I'm currently looking at this on my wall right behind my monitor where I record stuff. And a cool thing about winning Redemption, the winning Nationals, was the create a card. So the winner, so I got to do the create a card. I'm getting to do, I should say. So these are rules I must abide by to make a single brigade character enhancement with 1 or 2 simple abilities. I feel like Tyler's going to give me a little scoop of what the next theme scripture of the next set is. And if the card I want to create adheres to that theme, it will be featured in that set. If not, they're going to guarantee that the card I want to make sees print within the next 3 years. And yeah, so on top of all of the cards I won, I also get to do this. I have a couple ideas about cards I want to make, but nothing's set in stone yet. So we'll get to see what happens with this one. After all that was said and done, we all drove to this big giant restaurant and we had hibachi. And that's like if they have a giant grill and they have fancy things with eggs and the ladles and they cook your meat right there. And it's like a dinner and a show, basically. I was very entertained by this. It was fascinating watching how they cook it and the expertise of all the different cooks. Very yummy. They had some yummy sauce and just put that on everything. And there was so much food, I had to take some to go and eat it a couple of days later because of how good it was. So yeah, day 2 was big. It was the biggest day. Lot going on there. Day 3 was teams. Jake and I ended up running our teams list together. He was on Nativity Herods. I was on Clay Herods. And we ended up getting 3rd place. So yeah, a lot of our decks were very heavily skewed towards how we felt games were playing out in Type 1 2-player. And we didn't account for different types of variables that would happen in a team's environment. So like a lot of soul hide was going on in teams. This black-based defense that would play Meek Lost Souls and then hide those around. So we played against Chad, France, and Aaron. And Chad and Aaron were able to beat us pretty handily thanks to Moses and Soulhide. And 1st place was taken by Sean and Brandon. Hope to get them on the channel sometime to talk about these decks some more because they're very curious. I'm very intrigued to hear more about them. But notably, you'll see Babylonians being rocked in the defense and some sort of clay martyr priest hero offense. I'm still trying to figure out how the offense kind of worked. But congrats to Sean and Brandon for taking down teams and keeping Jake and I off 1st and 2nd again. So congrats on you for that. All right, I feel like I've rambled enough here. I got to give you a little bit behind the scenes of what Redemption Nationals was like. It's like a very long process. You got 3 days and you got like 8 hours of Redemption every day. And at the end of it, I was just like, I need to take a break from thinking about Redemption cards for a while. And so it's nice to just have dinner with people, just hear more about their lives outside of Redemption. Like that part a lot. Again, wanted to say thanks to everybody who came up and said hi, and thanks for all the people who were there who gave me some encouraging feedback about how much the videos have been helping and how much they like the videos. So I definitely plan to keep the videos coming. Maybe not as often as they used to, but I'm still here as far as like what it means for me to actually get to win something like that. I'm still searching for the words to describe it, but I feel very gracious and honored. It feels like all the doors are opening, so to say. I'm like walking through doors and they're opening, and it feels like I'm doing things that I've been designed to do, like the way my brain kind of works and the way I'm able to process information about redemption and stuff. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool being able to take these God-given gifts and use them. I was kind of thinking about if I should share this or not, but I figured why no. I have this little book here. It's called Every Moment Holy, and it's been very helpful for me lately to have things that I can pray. It's like a book of prayers, and they have a bunch of different prayers for different occasions. One of the prayers that's written here is for competitors, page 99. And so I was able to read this before the tournament started, and it was very grounding for me. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. We'd be here all day, but I just wanted to give a little slice of kind of where my heart is coming from when competing. It says, "There are, O Lord, eternal patterns, fragments of the story of redemption etched into our competitions," which is funny already because redemption is literally the name of this competition. "So let me be shaped by my participation in them, in this active parable of struggle, in this drama of things to be risked and lost or gained, of heroics, of hope defeated and hope resurgent, wars waged against doubt, the voices in my own head, of the struggle against the elements, struggle against the limits of my own strength and endurance and ability, and of struggle against a real opponent who seeks my defeat. For these are each small echoes of the fights that a lifelong obedience to Christ might entail." And so if you want to read the rest of this, I guess you're just going to have to go order this on Amazon. Every Moment Holy. Would highly recommend. But yeah, it was just cool being able to feel like and be reminded of how all these elements of competition remind me of bigger reality that I participate in. Like, yeah, we're playing a game and the order of the game is to rescue these cards and stuff. But, you know, it reminds me of the echoes of what real life is. We're the heroes on God's team and we're paired up against evil in this world. And it reminds me of like how much I think about redemption, how much I concentrate and hone my skills there. Like much more so should I be invested in honing in the skills of the kingdom, right? I don't know. Just a little random thought for anybody who curious. But I'm going to end the video there. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.